But first, and all eyes are on the French Assemblée Nationale as Prime Minister François Bayrou, the country's fourth leader in less than 2 years, faces a crucial confidence vote that he's expected to lose. It could plunge France, the Eurozone's second largest economy, into deeper political and economic turmoil. The timing could not be worse. As Europe grapples with Russia's war in Ukraine, a rising China, not to mention growing trade tensions with the US. France has not seen this level of political instability since the Fourth Republic in 1950s, when it had just 5 prime ministers in 2 years. Let's cross now to France 24's Clovis Casali at the Assemblée Nationale. Clovis, we've just heard there from the Prime Minister. Has he managed to convince anybody to back him?
Well, we don't know yet because the vote of confidence will be taking place later, but it seems indeed very unlikely. François Bayrou, an embattled Prime Minister who opened his speech with these words, "This is a moment of truth." He also said that, yes, you might lead to the collapse of this government, but it won't erase the truth. And for the French Prime Minister, the truth is that France is in huge debt, that France is not paying back its debt, but only paying back the interest on the debt, and will be doing so for years and years if we don't reduce the deficits, if the government doesn't hugely reduce the deficits, reduce spendings, and so on. And for the French Prime Minister François Bayrou, it's also something you owe to the French youth for their future. And regarding taxing more the rich parts of society here in France, well, François Bayrou said that if you raise taxes, if you put huge taxes on the wealthiest parts of French society, well, it will only lead to them leaving France, not to the other side of the world, but even to other parts of Europe. And that would go also for French companies if there were higher taxes. As you can expect, that's not the point of view of many parties here at the National Assembly. So François Bayrou tried to convince the opposition for the past 45 minutes of his speech. But if you ask me, it's going to be very difficult indeed.
And it's difficult to say who the next Prime Minister could be, but are there any names being mentioned?
Well, to summarise the situation, President Macron has got his back against the wall. He needs to find someone who will get some kind of majority in the National Assembly, someone who will get the backing of the ruling centrist bloc, but also of the centre-right parties, or at least some of those, especially from Les Républicains, the right-wing party, and from parts of the left. We know the radical left, France en Baude of Jean-Luc Mélenchon, won't take part in this. Neither will the French far-right of Marine Le Pen. So now the socialists are saying, find someone in our ranks and we will be able to get some kind of compromise. And Boris Vallaud, the leader of the Socialist Party at the National Assembly here, took to the stage here at the National Assembly right after François Bayrou. And he was extremely harsh, not just towards François Bayrou, but also towards Emmanuel Macron. He said regarding François Bayrou, the French Prime Minister, "You say you are showing bravery, you are not. This is weak what you're doing. You are just facing difficulties, huge difficulties. We do acknowledge that that is a problem, but instead of facing them, you have just, in a way, created a political suicide. You have decided to leave because you know you won't get a majority in this vote of confidence." The socialists also saying that there's one man responsible for this situation, and that's President Macron, responsible for increasing hugely the debt of France and also for creating this political instability here in France.